Hi everybody, Dan Illman here with the DRF race of the day for Tuesday, August the 23rd. It's race number 12 at Parx on Pennsylvania Derby Preview Day, and the Grade 3 Smarty Jones is the local prep for the prestigious Grade 1 $1 million Pennsylvania Derby. The Smarty Jones at 1 1/16 has a purse of $500,000 for 3-year-olds, and let's take a look at this field. Please scan the QR code for Race of the Day access on your mobile devices. Some really nice 3-year-olds here in the Smarty Jones. Todd Pletcher has Pioneer of Medina making his first start since the Kentucky Derby. This horse was 3rd in the Louisiana Derby earlier this year. Creative Minister is classic placed. He was 3rd in the Preakness 3 starts back. And Best Actor has a tremendous amount of upside potential coming off a runner-up effort in his stakes debut, the Indiana Derby, last time out. These horses have a lot of potential, and you never know. Maybe a couple of these will show up in the Pennsylvania Derby later this fall. Let's take a look at the Timeform US Pace Projector for this race. The number 8 Best Actor does have speed. I'm not sure if Best Actor needs the lead to win, but one of the reasons this horse was so far back last time out is that he stumbled very badly leaving the gate. He's usually a lot more forwardly placed. I think the 6 Practical Coach is going to be close to the pace, and I know Pioneer of Medina can be close as well. I think this pace is going to be fair. There are some other horses with tactical speed that might make it faster than fair, but I think everyone's going to have a chance based on the cold dope. Let's start things off with a very lightly raced horse trained by Chad Brown, and that's the number 1 Golden Alchemist, who successfully stretched out from 6.5 furlongs to 1 1/8 in only his second lifetime start in this maiden special weight at Saratoga. And he was a bit green turning into the stretch. We see him hanging on his left lead for a while, but once he changes over, he goes about his business well, he wins easily, he gets a respectable 90 Beyer speed figure for only his second lifetime start. He's going out for top connections, Brown and Pratt. He draws a cozy inside post position, and it seems like he's just learning with each and every start. His debut was good sprinting against a sharp horse, but he seems like a route horse. He seemed to really improve going 2 turns, a big, strong-looking son of Nyquist, and maybe he can trip out and work out a pace-tracking, ground-saving trip from the second flight or so. He's not out of this at all. The 2 is Camp David, a horse that had a mini 2-race win streak snapped last time out in the Grade 3 Matt win at Churchill Downs, his stakes debut. That was a very tough field. The winner of that race, Cyberknife, came back to win the Grade 1 Haskell with a 102 Beyer speed figure, and is going to be one of the choices in the Travers this coming Saturday. The 3rd place finisher, Rattle and Roll, has come back to win 2 stakes out of his next 3 starts. In his very next start after the Matt win, he won the American Derby with a Beyer speed figure of 91. After Camp David's performance in the Matt win, he went through the auction ring at Faceit-Tipton, and he sold for $135,000. He's now with trainer Michael Maker, who historically does very well taking over the reins of horses that have been in other barns. Camp David has a little bit of early speed. I still think he must prove his mettle against graded stakes competition. Pioneer of Medina is the number 3, and there was always a little bit of buzz around this horse earlier this year. He won 2 in a row, and let's look at his last 3 starts, because I think he can make excuses for all of them. In the Risen Star in the Louisiana Derby, 2 races where he ran pretty well, he was in against Epicenter, arguably the best 3-year-old in the country, off of his most recent dominant performance in the Jim Dandy. He could very well be the favorite in the Travers on Saturday. And then in the Kentucky Derby, Pioneer of Medina was likely overmatched in that race. And 2, when I talked to Todd Pletcher late last week, he said the horse got really hot in the paddock. It seemed to affect him, and he just didn't fire. And what's great about Todd is he's willing to give his horses time when he feels something is just a little bit not right. And that's what happened with Pioneer of Medina, who skipped the rest of the Triple Crown Series, skipped the Jim Dandy, and is going to run here in the Smarty Jones. The Derby has already produced 4 next out winners. Maybe Pioneer of Medina is going to be number 5. That 96 Beyer speed figure back in March looks strong. The 4 is Creative Minister, and Creative Minister is just a likable son of Creative Cause. He was 3rd in the Preakness, and this horse seems to thrive on racing. Just consider, even though he competed in 2 of the 3 Triple Crown Series races, He was on a Triple Crown schedule. He won a first-level allowance race on the Kentucky Derby undercard at Churchill, came back 2 weeks later, worked out a really nice trip under Brian Hernandez in the Preakness, where he was able to save ground most of the way, and he was only beaten 3 lengths by gate-to-wire winner early voting. The Belmont was probably a little bit too far for Creative Minister, who didn't break very well that day. And last time out on the Curlin, I thought maybe that track was a little bit deep. Early the Saratoga meet, a lot of the horsemen were not complaining, but noting that the main track at Saratoga seemed a little deep and tiring. Creative Minister got a very nice trip and ride under Dylan Davis. He had a chance to take this horse wide. He decided to stay in behind Artorias, who ended up winning that race. He followed that horse's cover into the stretch, and he just got up for third in the shadow of the wire. This is a good spot for Creative Minister, and 9-2 is a very fair price on the morning line. Icy Storm is up next, and Icy Storm is a horse that got beat last time out in an allowance race at Parx. He did finish ahead of a horse named Uncle Irish, who would come back to hit the board in a second-level allowance at Laurel with a 78 Beyer speed figure. Icy Storm goes in very good form for this barn before the last race. He retains his good form. The last race, though, I think he might have been aided by a pretty fast pace. They went a very quick second quarter, and I think that helped closers, especially Icy Storm. This is a big step up in class for a horse that only 4 starts ago was competing in an $8,000 two-life claimer. Practical Coach is next, and Butch Reed's barn's been doing very, very well lately, and Practical Coach has won his last 2 starts going 2 turns at Parx, including this pace-pressing victory in a 3-life allowance on July the 18th. Got up close to the pace and was very, very game in the stretch to win under Frankie Pennington. He earned a career-best Beyer speed figure of 82. Now, that pales in comparison with some of the other big names in this race. Practical Coach, I also wonder how much upside is left after 10 starts. Is he going to be able to take the necessary step up to beat some of these other horses? But he can get forward, and he does have a home court advantage. Witty is the number 7. This is the half-brother to Caravel, who just won another stakes race sprinting on the lawn. She's very, very good. She won that race at Saratoga last weekend. Witty is a horse stretching out for the first time for a very promising young trainer in McLean Hendricks, and he ran pretty well in this sprint race last time out. The Jersey Shore, only beaten 2 lengths by Provocateur, didn't get off to a good start down from an inside post position that day, but showed some moxie and heart to get up for second. The distance is a little bit of a question mark for Witty, but if you watched some of his races, especially his Parx Nursery last year, this guy likes to win, and he likes to make it no doubt about it. He wins by open lengths. The 87 Beyer last time out with trouble must be respected. And maybe he's sort of one of the new faces in here if you believe he's going to appreciate the extra distance that can get into your exotics at a price at the very least. Best Actor is up next, and this horse won his first 2 starts, and he looked good doing so. Last time out in the Indiana Derby, I think he lost his best chance at the start, and then the pace wasn't very fast. They went 24, 48, and 3, and Best Actor tried to wind up into it with a very wide run into the stretch. He never quit. He tried all the way down to the wire, as you see, beaten a half length, and Rattle and Roll, who finished well behind him, came back to win the St. Louis Derby at FanDuel last week with a 97 Beyer. This colt is all upside. He has tactical speed, and he's 7-2 for a strong team. Florent Giroux and Brad Cox. Casa Lot is up next, the number 9. We're going to watch his most recent start. This is his first race off the Safi Joseph claim and his first time going long. He had been sprinting exclusively for his prior connections. They went 1.1 miles with him here in this $50,000 starter allowance, and Jose Ortiz got him right to the front, back down the fractions, and sprinted on home over a track that seemed perhaps to favor speed on July the 30th. This is a big ask for Casa Lot. I would expect him to show some speed in here. I think the pace scenario, though, might be tougher. The horses that he's going to be facing in here are certainly tougher than the ones he beat last time out. Clapton is the number 10, and he's going to complete this field. And we're going to watch Clapton's last performance, a really useful third in the carryback, sprinting at Gulfstream Park. Now, he got a nice pace to run at in this heat. He's going to make a move, and he's going to end up finishing third with an 87 Beyer speed figure. He has won at 1.16 miles in the past. He did so 2 starts back in a first-level allowance, and I think the Connections did the right thing after the Florida Derby. They took a shot at 140-1. It didn't work out. They gave him a little break. They gave him a drop in class. He got his confidence up in that first level allowance race, and then he ran well in the carryback. But he now steps way up in class Tough outside post position. Clapton must improve, and this is going to be his 13th start. How much upside is left? Before we get to my top selection, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for all the latest DRFTV video offerings. I'm going to go with Creative Minister. I know he's run hard. I know they've put him through the ringer despite a late start to his 3-year-old campaign, but he just seems like a hardy type. He's going to try. A mile and a 16 is going to be no problem for this horse. Both of his wins have come at this distance, and he's just proven himself against top-class horses. I may have made a mistake in not rating the 3 Pioneer Medina higher. 3-1 on the morning line. Maybe he takes a little bit more money as the favorite, and I just don't know if he has such an edge off this field, especially off the layoff, that I want to take him at that price. Curious to see what Golden Alchemist does. I expect Best Actor to give a good run for his money, but I want Creative Minister, especially at the morning line odds of 9-2, and he'll be my top pick in the Grade 3 Smarty Jones, your DRF race of the day for Tuesday. Good luck.